And joining me now for more on this, Kiron Skinner, Director and Todd Professor of International Relations at Carnegie Mellon University. She is also the former Senior Advisor to the Secretary of State and 2016 Trump Campaign Foreign Policy Advisor. Thanks so much for joining us. It appears that the U.S. and North Korea is at a bit of a standstill. North Korea sort of offering these braggadocious threats heading into the end of the year. They had been calling for the U.S. to take action, specifically want these sanctions to be lifted. That's not going to happen by the end of the year. So what can we expect from North Korea?
Hopefully there won't be a Christmas surprise or Christmas gift, as the North Koreans are calling it. But this is what effective sanctions look like. They're made to be painful. They're made to be directed. And the North Korean leader, I think, is understanding that the United States under President Trump means business. Now, we know that the Chinese and the Russians kind of eased on sanctions after the initial summit in Singapore in 2018, and that they want now for the U.S. to reverse a lot of the sanctions that the United Nations imposed under U.S. direction. Yeah. However, they are working. And so I believe that as long as President Trump and his team stay cool, calm, directed as they deal with the North Koreans and focus on diplomacy, bringing our regional partners along with us, focusing on the Japanese and the South Koreans and the Indo-Pacific strategy that the president has put in place, there will be really little wiggle room for the North Koreans by the end of the year.
Yeah, and I think you sort of brought it up that Steve Biegun had gone over, met with the Japan,
yes,
South Korea, ensuring that those relationships with our allies remain steady. You talked about, the importance is to remain calm. That seems to be what the Democrats are urging as well. We can all remember, of course, sort of this fiery back and forth in 2017, a lot of name calling. That was the Rocket Man era of the day. The Democrats just essentially sent a letter to the president on North Korea writing this: "It would be a severe miscalculation to believe that a resumption of fire and fury threats and other attempts at nuclear coercion against North Korea can lead to better results than the negotiation table." When you're talking about calm, how exactly should the U.S. respond?
I read the letter very carefully that the Democrats just sent to the president, and they're basically restating what he's done in the past 2 years. They talk about, a commitment to regional partnerships and reinvigorating them, and, working with our allies and making sure that we hold the North Koreans to the fire on doing what we want them to do in terms of entering the community of states in its nuclear policy. So I think that working more with Congress, since they appear to agree with the president, is a great idea. Congress was also very clear on its North Korea stance in the NDAA that the president just signed. So I think there's a more cohesive United States. There's more activity and diplomacy in the Indo-Pacific region from the administration. I think continuing all of this will make it a lot more difficult for Kim Jong-un, backed up by the Chinese and the Russians, to take any action against us in the days ahead.
All right, we shall see if there is any action in the days ahead of any kind as we await this potential Christmas surprise, as you mentioned. Kiron Skinner, thank you so much for your insights today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.